Yep. So I wanted to just open this up with some just questions, some talking points on basically the top contenders this year coming into this season. Obviously, the Thunder, the defending champs. Usually, this happens. People are asking, are they going to repeat? They are favorites to take the title this season. They're also, I think, they're plus 750 to three-peat. Like, there's already a line out there for a three-peat.
Why would anyone bet that? Why would?
Oh man. Um, but yeah, so really, who are the biggest contenders to OKC coming into this season, Logan?
Okay, yeah. So I have some controversial opinions on this topic, excluding some teams. I wrote so many teams out. Like I did contenders, and I did like just the fringe contenders. So actual legitimate contenders, in my opinion, the Nuggets for sure. We saw that series go 7 games last year, and I like the Cam Johnson addition
Yes.
for the Nuggets. I think that should work very well. Just hope they stay healthy, and that those two will be battling out in the West, in my opinion, until the very end. I think a healthy, and this is healthy is very key here because very serious doubt this is true. A healthy Mavericks team it is very, very good, and I like incredibly good. Um, when Anthony Davis is your 4, and then you have guys like Gafford and Lively as your 5. I mean that front court that's just an insane front court. Pair that with Kyrie returning in January, and then veteran presence Klay Thompson, and then of course Cooper Flag. I love this Mavericks roster. Do they deserve this roster? Absolutely not, because of the Luka fiasco and the NBA rigging the lottery for them. But I'm really looking forward to watching them play. And then I put 2 East teams because I mean the Thunder. If whoever comes out of the West has to play an East team in the title. So if an East team makes the title, they're only 4 wins away from winning it. So, and to me it's pretty obvious. I think it's the Knicks and Cavs. I think those two are clearly above everyone else with the East's injuries. Um, Cavs had the best regular season last year and didn't really lose anybody. And then the Knicks obviously made it to the Eastern Conference Finals and are bringing back the same team as last year. So yeah, those are my contenders. The fringe contenders, I put the Rockets. They're not. They're going to go 0-82 this year based off Rockets and Lakers are on pace to go 0-82 after last night's results. But yeah, Rockets, Lakers, Warriors, and Timberwolves are my fringe contenders. I just don't. I don't trust Durant anymore. For something, Durant is a fun player to watch. I've talked about this so many times. He's a fun player to watch. It's just something since he's left Golden State. When he goes to a team, they underperform, and I just don't see anything different happening here. Lakers are fringe contenders. I'm not even say they're not even contenders until the LeBron era is over. I just think the LeBron thing's just too big of a distraction. Like I don't know how committed he actually is at this moment in his career, and I think the Lakers are probably just ready to move on with the Luka era. Warriors are just too old, in my opinion. Butler and Curry, they will always be a tough out, but I just think they're too old. And then the Timberwolves just always find Minnesota sports teams always find a way to lose somehow, some way. So, and then out of the East, the Magic. I love the Magic this year. They could definitely be a threat in the East, but I still think they're just a little too young.
Yeah, I definitely like Denver. There's one guy that they're bringing back from their championship team. That's Bruce Brown. So I think that's a huge offseason pickup, along with the Cam Johnson. I think those are guys that just fit in that system, and I think more so the players that are going out of that roster uh, are positives for Denver. I know Russell Westbrook was a huge energy guy that we talked about during the playoffs, but I
That's not
think
sustainable
he
at all. Yeah.
he he still ends up being a liability when you come down to it. And then I think Michael Porter Jr. Getting rid of him, I just don't think he was a good fit anymore with this roster, and I think Cam Johnson just fits in perfectly. Um, yeah, I'm a big Magic proponent. I love the Magic and what they're building there. They added Desmond Bain this offseason. I think they could really compete in the East. until Cleveland proves that they can get it done on the east side of the bracket. I don't really trust them. The Knicks are fascinating. I think it'll be really interesting to see. I don't really care what happens in the regular season. I know they'll be in the playoffs, but I want to see what they look like come playoffs under Mike Brown, as opposed to what they look like under Thibodeau. Because under Thibodeau, those guys were worked like dogs. The starting five stayed out there 40 plus minutes a game, and it'll be interesting to see how Mike Brown uses this roster.
I think barring injuries, if they regress this year under Mike Brown, I could see him being a one and out. Because if you think, I mean, the East is really being served to them on a silver platter this year, and if they regress and blow this opportunity, yeah, that could be trouble in New York.
What is a team that you think their championship window is closed?
Milwaukee. Giannis can only do so much, and their offseason additions do not help at all. Miles Turner, I mean, the Pacers won 3 games in that series against the Thunder in spite of Miles Turner. Maybe the most overrated acquisition of the offseason. I really like, yeah, I don't. Giannis is probably going to want out of there, in my opinion, because I don't think it's going to work. Sixers, for obvious reasons, they just can never stay healthy. And then I put the two LA teams, the Lakers mostly because LeBron. Until LeBron goes, I just feel like their ceiling is set. Like if they want to seriously contend for a title, I feel like they need to just move on from that era, embrace the Luka era, build around him. And then the Clippers, their guys are getting too old, and Kawhi doesn't. I don't know how much Kawhi cares anymore. As fun as much as I love watching James Harden play, I think his time is near expiration as well. And I'm still seeing people saying they're a contender, and I'm like, no, 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 no.
Mm-mm. Yeah, the Clippers would be my pick for the team that their window's closed, because not only is this a team that underperforms come playoff time, there's a lot of weird stuff going on with that organization right now. So the drama surrounding them doesn't help their case at all coming into the season. On the flip side of that, who's your dark horse team to really over exceed expectations coming into this season?
So for me in the West, I'm going with the classic: win way more games than you're supposed to, have an obvious ceiling, but become relevant again. I'm going really dark. I'm going Trailblazers. They finished the year strong last year. Signed Drew. They had kind of all the things a dark horse usually has. That kind of comes out of nowhere. Finished well last year. Finished the year well. Added a veteran, Drew Holiday, to their roster, and they're young. Most of their talent is young, so they should only theoretically only get better. And if one of those guys like Klingon or Sharp or someone like that takes the next step, I mean that could be a team that is a hard out every game and makes it to the playoff. Could be like last year's Rockets almost. A team that had that I don't know, they won't get the 2 seed like the Rockets did, but a team that really good in the regular season has an obvious ceiling, but it is a tough out. And then you might say I'm a homer. I'm going to say the Pacers are still a dark horse in the East, mainly because no one's giving them any chance to do anything. And yeah, they're not making the title or anything this year, but with the East so injured, I still think they have a great shot to get like a 4 or 5 seed in this conference. With the roster they have, when we saw just with all those guys have playoff experience now, championship experience now. I could see the Pacers being like a tough out every game and earning like the 5th seed or something like that, and then going all in the next year when Halliburton returns.
Yeah, it's even with the Halliburton injury that it's a pretty talented team and very underrated. I love the Portland pick. That's a sneaky good pick right there for a dark horse team. Um, any thoughts on the Spurs? Maybe would this be a
I
season
had
when
them as my most overhyped team.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, we were just
that
gonna
was
get to
probably
that. Yep.
that was my boldest. That's my boldest take.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
before I go into that, I want to hear your dark horses if you have any.
yeah. The Portland pick was nice, but yeah, I kind of like Dallas. Really isn't a dark horse pick, but I think a lot of people maybe aren't looking at them as like a title contender because Kyrie's going to be out for those first couple months, and that we really don't know what Cooper looks like at the NBA level. So it should be interesting to see what happens there. But I think if they can hold the fort down until Kyrie gets back, it could be a very dangerous team uh, come March and April.
Their size is kind of reminiscent of like that 2011 championship team. Because remember, I mean, that was obviously they had Dirk, but that team was like huge
Tyson
with
Chandler
Chandler
and
and guys like that. I mean, yeah, I mean, they're a big team, and I really think they're built well. But yeah, similar to the Sixers, their guys have a long history of not staying healthy, so that's the big bugaboo with them.
so yeah, so I like them. I think when you look at some of the teams in the West, the Timberwolves don't feel complete. Like there's just something missing with them. Rockets, you mentioned with Durant, it's a weird situation everywhere he goes, and then there's just some old teams I feel like out west that won't sustain any long term success, be able to make a deep playoff run. So I do like Dallas as a dark horse pick. You mentioned your overhyped team. Is that your only one with San Antonio?
That was the only one I wrote was Spurs. I, I even said Wimby is an overhyped player. I mean, yes, he's very fun to watch, very unique. His highlights are incredible. Only 40 and 77 career record wise. I know, oh, he doesn't have any help. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. But I mean, you see, I mean, there's been several examples of guys in the past who are get drafted high, but still find ways to win and get better than that. Like people are saying he's already a top 5 player. Well, if your career record's 40 and 77 and you haven't proven you can stay healthy, I feel like that's a little. Yeah, and the Spurs are just overhyped because I don't know if Wimby can stay healthy. That and we are De'Aaron Fox is already out with an injury. Um, I don't. Yeah, I could see this being just another year for the Spurs. It's people are going to say it was a wasted year for Wembanyama's career. I would love to see Wembanyama with some actual pieces. I mean, he's such a fascinating player to watch, but at this moment, they've just done nothing to deserve the hype that they get, in my opinion, other than have highlights.
Yeah, he should be a lock for defensive player of the year though, probably for multiple
Yes,
years. Um,
as
so
long as he
yeah.
stays healthy, absolutely.
Um, last thing, MVP candidates. Who do you got for regular season MVP?
CSGA won it last year. I'm gonna go Jokic. SGA just doesn't seem. He played great last night. He just doesn't seem like the kind of guy who goes back to back. I don't know, something about it. I think he'll win another MVP in the future, but he just doesn't seem like one of those back to back guys. I'm gonna go Jokic. I love this. Like I said, we both love this Nuggets team, and I think he's gonna excel this year.
Yeah, yeah, I'm total agreement there. He's already won it a couple times, so he feels more likely to win another than the rest of these guys. Um, Maybe I could see Luca, full season in LA if he stays healthy, could really compete for that with Jokic. So
43 last night against the Warriors. So yeah, he definitely looks to be back to his original self. It's just I just don't really like the structure of their team.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, that is our condensed NBA preview because it is just the regular season. We'll definitely dive super deep into the NBA once we get close to playoffs. It's mostly football right now, though, so we'll check back in maybe around the Christmas Day games because Christmas is still supposed to be the NBA's day and not the NFL. So we'll check back in around that time. Big shout out to NBC. Love that the NBA is back on that. It looked good. The old theme, the theme song, it looked great on that network. So really cool that it's back on there. And we got some ESPN games tonight. We'll get to see Cooper Flag tonight play. So pretty cool stuff there. All right,
No, I
that'll do
really
it here
missed.
at the.
The NBA games really lacked. It really lacked Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins arguing with each other until right before tip off. Like that's what NBC
So
really
much
needs.
better
They need
that-
something like that.
So much better now.